finally back. I've been having issues with the computer for a very long time, so I had to send it to the warranty. So I could not edit or stream during this period of time that it has been with the IT team. It turns out that the GPU had a default issue, so they had to replace it with a new one. And then during the final test, the IT team noticed that the power source also had an issue. So they also had to change it, and it delayed the delivery by a lot. Anyways, I'm happy to have my PC back, and now I can start working on the streams and the videos that I have pending again. So thank you for your patience, and let's start with this video. As you may know, we recently got the new Monster Rockstars, and all of them are quite good. Today I bring you a review of the main three elements: fire, water and wind. I will be explaining how their mechanics work, why are they good, and how to build them so you can have full understanding on how to use them. Let's start with Belle. This unit is really good in the current meta, and you'll realize why soon. Let's check her skills. When a skill hits an ally, fire, water, wind, mage monster steals 2 beneficial effects from enemies nearby the target ally monster. Also applies Oblivion and block harmful effect removal to them. This part is kinda shadowed because water, fire and wind mages are currently very hard to play in the current meta because they are too squishy. I personally tested her with a bunch of mages for this video, and the final conclusion is that fire, water and wind mages are too squishy or lack utility in current meta. However, some of them may shine with her in certain situations. The best ones that I could find, the first one is VEREDICT. The Endure his artifact helps him survive for long enough to apply damage unless the enemy has a stream. Kinda pointless if you don't have the artifact, he will get one-shotted most of the time, but this is still good in certain situations. The second option is Water Shellos. Yes, that forgotten unit. His damage is based on enemy max HP, and his passive triggers every single time that he or any allied unit evades an attack, which can become extremely annoying because he has heal reduction debuff and defense down. Definitely not top tier, but he's a decent option for overall damage if you wanna trigger Belle's passive. The third option is Firewood. Her damage isn't good, too low base attack for a mage and very little damage, but she can't get one-shotted due to her passive, plus applies Unrecoverable, which is incredibly useful for the high sustained meta, so she usually survives long enough to apply decent damage. And well, another unit that might work is a Mage, but he's usually dead before doing anything, and this meta has a few unrevivable units, and really high sustain. So usually his damage is pointless because the enemy will heal back and he doesn't apply any useful debuffs. Let's continue with her kit. The attack speed of all enemies and ally monsters is limited to its own attack speed. This is the main reason why she is good. As you may know, magical archers and beast riders are played a lot, and both of them rely on attack speed, so this unit reduces their damage output by a lot. Applies Provoke with a certain chance to enemies within the area and removes 2 harmful effects from allies within the area. Then applies Headliner to itself. When Headliner is active, partially restores the destroyed HP and recovers the HP of allies within the zone every certain time. The recovery amount is based on its defense, and the recovery amount of Headliner increases with each level of Headliners. Gains immunity to CC effects while using this skill, and accelerates the Team Summer's skill cooldown. Destroy runes are very meta to reduce the impact of HP-based units, and Belle is the first released unit that can restore destroyed HP, which also makes her very valuable, plus Provoke and Cleanse. When she has Headliner, she will heal 18.3% of her defense every 2 seconds, which that could be around 1.9 and 2k HP. It doesn't look like much, but the recovery given is increased by 300% per Headliner level, which means that with 1 level, she is recovering around 6k HP every 2 seconds, which is not insane, but noticeable. She can be paired up with cooldown reduction units that will make her stack Headliner levels and then increase her heal. pulls the enemy with the highest attack and steals all beneficial effects from the target. If the target is a summoner, applies a stun with a certain chance. If the target is a monster, applies root with a certain chance. This skill is meant to keep the enemy's main damage dealer under control, and might be really good, but also keep in mind that not all meta DPS units are attack based, so it's not always crucial. This monster is intended to counter very specific things. With this, we can talk about how to build her. This is a PvP focused unit, so currently a fully non-equitable set is the best option. However, you need to prioritize stats, so if you don't have good enough runes to provide her with a high HP or a high defense, consider giving her guard or energy runes instead. Mainly, you need to place on her HP percentage or defense percentage runes on slots 2, 4 and 6. As her heal is defense based, give her at least 2 defense percentage runes, then HP to survive, resistance, evasion and some accuracy. You don't need 100%. Lower accuracy is good. Try to keep her with a minimum of 9 or 10k defense and above 100k HP. Then as much evasion as resistance as possible. Regarding artifacts, I recommend that you use Resilience, as she is defense-based monster with Provoke, Root and Stun. As an alternative, you can also use Purification to reduce the duration of harmful effects on her. But in my opinion, I prefer Resilience. As you have seen, this is a tank unit made to counter attack speed based units mainly with some extra effects. This might not look that good on paper, but a lot of attack speed units are currently top tier in PvP, so she is currently really good. With that said, let's talk about the next one. This unit has truly shaken the meta, especially in Challenge Arena because of her passive. When hit by a skill, decreases damage taken based on energy of water level. Decreases energy of water level each time it's hit by an enemy's skill. In the arena and siege battle, all enemy and ally monsters cannot revive. No monsters can revive. And what are the main revivers used nowadays? Those two. Plus some extra DPS units that also have revive. Revive meta is still very present, so if you are playing Revive team, you will need to ban her during Brawl Arena matches. Recovers the HP of allies within the area, removes one harmful effect from them, and applies Headliner to itself. When Headliner is active, removes one beneficial effect from enemy and team monsters within the area that have 3 or more beneficial effects. The removal effect cannot be resisted, and it applies energy of water to itself each time it removes a beneficial or harmful effect with this skill. Some clans heal and remove beneficial effects from both allies and enemies that have 3 or more beneficial effects. And the fact that the removal cannot be resisted is absolutely strong. When it applies Headliner to itself, while Headliner is already active, decreases the team summoner's skill cooldown and applies energy of water to itself. The recovery amount is based on its max HP. This skill is not affected by other team members' skill cooldown decrease effects. Gains immunity to CC effects while using this skill, and accelerates the team summoner's skill cooldown. Summoner's skill cooldown reduction is really strong. Also, even though on her passive the damage reduction while having Headliner might not look like a lot, she applies energy of water to herself multiple times in multiple situations, which will make her stack and reduce a lot of damage. To be more specific, you can see that she will remove one buff every 3 seconds when Headliner is active from units that have 3 or more beneficial effects. But it also says that her Headliner can be removed by applying Silence to her. Therefore, Silence is a good way to counter her. Recovers the HP of 2 team members with the lowest current HP ratio and increases the team summoner's ultimate gouge. The recovery amount is based on its max HP. She is like a mini Eleanor. Her ultimate gouge up is 10% while Eleanor is 20%, but additionally Lynch has heal, cleanse, a revivable and some strip. She does not have a big strip since it's necessary for a unit to have 3 or more buffs for the buff removal to trigger, but the rest of her kit makes it a very strong and valuable unit. As an HP-based tank, her recommended build is very similar to Belle's build. Lynx is also a PvP-focused unit, so full indestructible set is also her best option, using guard or energy as alternative or secondary sets. You need to prioritize HP on her, because her heal scales on HP, and provide her with some defense for higher survivability, and then as much evasion and resistance as you can. Since her strip is unresistible and the unrevivable is a passive, you don't need accuracy on her at all. Regarding artifacts, I only recommend that you use purification on her, since the other purple artifacts do not activate on her. Lynx has become a meta-changing unit, as revive meta and the usage of Dark Hina is very popular. Aside from that, it's a scary unit to fight against, since she will reduce the summoner's skill cooldown and increase ultimate gouge, as well as provide heal, cleanse and some strip. On top of that, she is a very tanky unit due to her being a night type, so this is extremely reliable. On the other hand, the headliner effect on her is removed with silence, so this is the correct way to neutralize her kit. Keep that in mind. And the last one of the main three elements is LYNX, a very valuable unit as well. Her kit is very similar to Luis's kit, but a little bit more PvP oriented. This monster's interesting point is the fact that she reduces the damage received from units that have attribute advantage towards your ally monsters, and the rest of her kit provides a lot of survivability. Applies Endure to itself when it receives lethal damage and uses Power Core. If a team member successfully resists a harmful effect, recovers the HP of the target team member. The recovery amount is based on its max HP. This is quite good, since that makes it even harder to kill if the enemy does not have Death Denial ignored, and every time a team member resists a debuff, she's going to heal that ally by 5% of her max HP. In the Arena and Siege battle, increases the team monsters' rest and attribute damage rest. The higher the attribute damage rest, the less damage the monster takes from a target with a disadvantageous attribute. As you can see, she increases the attribute damage rest by 30%. And what does that mean? First of all, if we take a look at what elemental advantage does, we can see it provides 20% extra damage. This means that, as an example, if a water unit attacks a fire unit, that water unit is going to deal 20% extra damage to the fire unit. Lynx's passive means that your ally monsters have a 30% chance to ignore that 20% extra damage. A lot of players think that this skill reduces damage taken by 30%, but that is not correct. It is just a 30% chance to ignore that 20% extra damage your units will receive while facing the element they are weak against. I tested this myself using Siege defenses, and I've done over 500 runs to test this. If someone wants further details about the method I used, let me know in the comments and I will explain. I just don't want to make this video too long. During the testing, I was making my Perna attack an Ardella, and I made sure no other damage modifiers were present on the fight. My Perna was dealing 88k damage to Ardella all the time. I tested the damage with and without Liz on Ardella's team. But when that 30% attribute damage rest triggered, when Liz was on the field, Ardella received 72k damage, which is 80% of 88k. This means that the 20% extra damage from attribute advantage has been ignored. So we can say this is very similar to how Light Race's AT field works. Let's continue. Recovers the HP of allies within the area and applies Oblivion to enemies within the area with a certain chance. Applies Block Harmful Effect removal if Oblivion is successfully applied. The recovery amount is based on its max HP. This is a really good area heal with Area Oblivion and Block Harmful Effect removal. This is really big, especially because the majority of meta units are relying on their passives. So this is extremely good for PvP. Removes 2 harmful effects from allies within the area and applies Invincibility to them. Area Cleanse and Invincibility is just really good for survivability. Liz is also an HP based unit, so she uses the exact same build as Lynch. Indomitable for PvP and energy and guard as secondary sets. Keep in mind that Indomitable set was recently nerfed, so unless you use 6 Indomitable runes, you probably won't notice the effect that much. So if you cannot give her like 6 Indomitable runes, I recommend that you use guard or energy instead for extra survivability. You need to use HP or defense for slots 2 for unsick, prioritizing HP because her heal scales on HP, and some defense for survivability, and then as much evasion and resistance as possible. This is the first unit that brings a new stat to the game, with it being Attribute Advantage Damage Res. Come to Us has already mentioned in previous patch notes that they want to change the way some stats work, plus add other interaction, and Liz is waiting for that update. As part of her kit says, the higher the attribute damage res, the less damage the monsters will take from a target with a disadvantageous attribute. This clearly means that we will see other units that will be able to stack attribute advantage damage res, or maybe other ways to obtain that stat. Other ways, it could be pointless to add this part of the text, because currently Liz's passive cannot stack. This is just useless for now, just for now. Honestly, the fact that it's only 30% chance to erase that 20% damage received from enemies that have elemental advantage against your units, it's not that good. But at the same time, if Come to Us adds other ways to obtain attribute advantage damage res, she will become very valuable, as her passive will stack and reduce the received damage a lot more. For now, it's not that relevant. Despite that, her kit is still really good. Oblivion, block harmful effect removal, heal, cleanse, and invincibility on just one unit, all of this in just one unit, is incredibly good. So definitely an interesting unit. She's somehow an improved Louise, of course, because Louise has a very similar kit, this is just slightly better. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. I will probably make another video in the future reviewing the LD versions, so let me know in the comment section below if you could be interested. As always, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!